Right, we are back again. For those of you who want to reintroduce, I'm with Rizzles. Not Rizzles, sorry, that's your Instagram there. I've named him as Riz. just giving it away. Sorry, Rizwan Khan.
I'll take over. Right. So
Right.
obviously I just want to kind of expand a bit of like who I am. I'm an actor and a model. So I've been on TV shows such as Hollyoaks, which I was quite wild for. I'm in the new Batman movie. I'm on The Crown season 6. I've just filmed something like the past 2 days, which he knows about, but I can't unfortunately. But it is massive.
Yeah. Listen, mate, I can't believe I've managed to pin someone like this down. You know what I mean?
So I've done quite a lot of things. So I'm good at what I do basically. And obviously my social media and that type of stuff, I'm quite like out there as well, which we'll talk about later on. But yeah.
See, disqualified dads, like I said, celebrities, you can all come here. We'll talk to everyone.
He's
good.
bribed me with Pepsi Max and chocolate whispers. That's all I take, guys.
It's cost me big time to get here. Yeah. Right, Riz, so carry on from where we were, you're saying.
Yeah, right. Okay, so getting straight into it now. So a friend of mine, who we've got each other for years and years, and she's got a gorgeous kid and that type of stuff. And so anyways, we were talking, I was telling her, and I was like, this is what it's like. And again, as usual, the woman, she's like, no, it can't be that bad. That doesn't happen. And I went, listen, not everyone is like you who gets on with the ex.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rare occasion it does happen. And which again, we want more. And they've got a routine. They hate each other. They've both got different partners, but they hate each other. But for the kid, again,
to get along.
They
co-parent.
They get on. Yeah, the co-parent. Fantastic. Right. And that word co-parent needs to be framed. That's what it needs to be. And like a plaque. So, anyways, we were talking that type of stuff, and she did it in front of me, and we did it at my house. And she was like, okay. And I told her about women's aid. I got it to me. She goes, no, that's nonsense, blah, blah. No, really? She goes, do you know what? I'm going to put it to the test. If not, you've got to, I think it was a KFC or something like this. You've got to get me a KFC. And deal. Phone KFC. They've got no sponsors with this, by the way. No affiliation. So she phoned Women's Aid and that type of stuff. Said, okay, here we go. She put it on a loudspeaker. And again, I've only heard this from people.
Uh-huh.
So it's very interesting. She phones Women's Aid and she speaks to them. Said, look, I've gone through a breakup at the moment and it's about, my child and that type of stuff. I don't know what to do. And I've been told to speak to you. So I was like, okay, fair dues. And again, so she turned on and said, can you just explain how long were you together? Have you broken up? What religion was he?
That type of stuff. Okay, yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know that had anything to do with being a dad. But okay. And, and like, so the kind of said, does he work? Does he not work? Do you know how much money he makes? How much he doesn't make? What's his yearly income and that type of stuff? Do you know? Does he got any savings and all this type of stuff? I was like, I'm thinking in my head, is she applying for a loan or like what's going on? Like I was baffled.
An investment plan,
yeah.
Hedge fund. It was a hedge fund.
Well, Women's Aid, it's an investment plan, isn't it? Because people pay them money. That's why mugs. Right. So, anyways, and she turned around and said, "Oh, have you had any domestic violence or anything like that?" I died ironically enough. You said about coercive behaviour. Said being anything in the past, stuff like this. And then she turned around. She was like, then she went with it. She was like, yeah, actually, he hit me like a while ago and that type of stuff. But I've never taken any photos or anything like that, so I can't really prove it. They were like, that's fine. They can take your word for it. That's not a problem. So that's fine. That's fantastic. So you'll get legal aid. That's fantastic.
Secured, yeah.
Okay. Have they ever done anything sexually, anything like that? No. Okay, because you do know victims can get up to £15,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, funny that.
Apparently it's gone up now. I don't know what the latest one is.
Hold on. So that the Women's Aid lady said, if you claim the allegation, they can ramp up the money. They can build up that money.
Yeah, you can be entitled up to 15 grand a claim.
Bloody what? Is that in legal aid?
No.
As an independent
compensation, independence, and that type of stuff.
What, from who? So Women's Aid would pay that lady.
Yeah, that's
or Women's Aid would claim from the government on behalf of that lady.
So Women's Aid have a fund. They have a big fund, and that
fund which they get from government.
Yeah.
So the more people that come through the door, more victims that come through the door, the more they can claim.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, I'm on the phone. And again, it's on loudspeaker, and she's looking at me as insane.
You should have recorded it.
And well, no, we didn't think of it at the time because it was just off the cuff.
Yeah.
And like, I was disgusted. Even though I'm making the face, I'm like, wow, at the end of it and that type of stuff. And then, like, you know, then they started asking her, like, you know, again, okay, have you put any, you know, does he harass you? Does he stalk you? Anything like this? Blah. And she was like, yeah. Again, she kind of went with it.
Fix your mic, yeah.
Okay.
Crashing against your. Sorry, my
No, no.
bad.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so we found it like quite. It was kind of like what? Then they started asking him again, but it was more like the case of like,
You're coercing.
has he hit you? Yeah, it was like yes. Okay. So has he sexually abused you? Is that correct? Yes. And that type. And again, she's
Are
like,
you sure he didn't?
yeah. Are you sure he didn't? I'm sure there was a time that he did. And I'm like, what? And even she was like, well, no, I just said it wasn't. And then at the end, you know, and she kind of said, you know, oh, like, thanks. And they were like, okay, you know, can we take your details and that type of stuff? Then we'll, like, you know, so they're taking so much and they wanted to contact them by an email address. And she ended up putting the phone down on them. And then she looked at me and she cuddled me. She was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I cannot believe, and that type of stuff. And then obviously I joked about you owe me KFC now, and that type of stuff. But I said, there you go.
Did you know? I could tell you a little story about Women's Aid. I was working with this one specific fathers group, and they know a few cases where a few women from the community who made these allegations, they tried to revoke these allegations because they said, look, if you've been coerced into this, revoke the allegations, we'll help you work with your ex and we'll try and get you access to these women, yeah? So when these women went back to Women's Aid to try and get rid of these allegations and said, look, let me drop this and all of that, apparently they were coerced and they were sort of like bully boy tactics to say, if you don't continue with this, we might have to get social services involved with you and your kids, yeah? So they scared these women to continue on that path by saying, if we call social service saying we think your kids are in danger, they will be put into care. So then, do you see what I'm saying? I've even heard stuff like that.
Yeah, like, but again, like, you know, kind of my case and that type of stuff, it kind of got said. If she creates like false allegations and that type of stuff, it works out in their favour. And you kind of like, say what? And this is it. It's such a one-sided thing. And this is where it kind of infuriates me because, again, let's remember, we're not talking about the majority, we're talking about a minority, we would like to think. But unfortunately, when it comes to family court, that's why it's called mother's court, because it is a majority, not a minority. And that's the thing. And the most craziest thing, and again, my own experience with all the false allegations and everything lately, is one thing which I found mad. Okay, so think about this. A murder case, right? Me and you can go to the courts tomorrow, for example, and we can walk into a trial. We can walk into anything in Crown Court, High Court, whatever it's called.
Right.
Like, we can walk into any case. Okay. When you attended family court last, who walked in the room with you?
No one.
Right.
Me.
Was your Mackenzie friend allowed to go in with you?
Yeah, my Mackenzie, yes.
Okay. But if your family members, were they allowed to walk inside with you?
No. No one can. No one can. Not in the family court. No.
But have you realised what we just said? Me and you can walk into a murder trial.
And your family can be with you.
Like, my family could be with me. I could take that guy outside the Chinese shop that we were
Yeah.
It was on the floor. Don't ask. Right? It's a whole different story. Like, we can take him with us, what's it called, to a criminal court. But it's a trial where someone's like murder, like whatever type of stuff, guns and that type of stuff. But family court, where it's but our kid, right? And that type of stuff. And all we're trying to do is fight to see who can see the kid. But no one's allowed in that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why, isn't it? We know now why. Because it's a secret court. So then there's no scrutiny. And the best way, like I said, look, I was born originally, I don't know if I've told you not, I was born in Lancashire, yeah?
Okay.
Preston, Deepdale, fraud capital of the country, yeah?
I'm a Blackburn fan, so this is hard.
Preston Northern, B&E.
Being a Rovers fan anyways.
So
it's about our kids, we'll keep quiet.
So now, knowing, look, when you come from up north, you know some scams. You've heard of some good scams, right? Yeah. But when I've seen the
Women's Aid,
yeah. No, Women's Aid family. This is the best scam.
It's not even a scam. It's just out there with the open. But yeah, carry on.
But my point is. But how do you keep a scam? Okay, look. How do you keep a scam going and get money out of it?
Yeah.
Problem if it's kept secret.
Yeah.
If everyone knows about it, guess what? You can't protect it. So there's no scrutiny. There's no jury. There's no audience, limited audience, only the victim there, which is the father, and the kids, and mum's court, and mum's whole army there.
Yeah.
So if you keep that quiet, okay, look, remember this, as we said about the feeling earlier, yeah? Legacy you're going to leave on this planet after we're long gone is our kids, yeah? The fact that you think this is my kid, why wouldn't I see them? You just have that understand that it's your kid. How do you monetize that bond? Mother, child, father. And let's be quite clear, yeah? The family courts, women's aid, social services, CAFCAS, they have no care or concern for mother either. Forget the fact that they have no concern for father or child, we know. They don't have a concern for mother. Mother is just there to generate money for them. So they reward and incentivize this lunatic behavior. They incentivize the madness because they're generating money off her. The more wild mum gets, the more wild the accusations, the more they pander to her, the more money everyone makes. So, for example, if your fact finding is dragged out for 3-4 days, if you had a solicitor or barrister, that'll cost you 10 grand.
Yeah,
just you alone.
Yeah.
That judge is on 2 grand a day. Her barrister, solicitor, they're probably making 15 grand more than probably 15
and
grand.
let's face it, sorry to interject there, right? Let's face it, you know for a fact when the solicitors like talk to each other in the room, they're like, yeah, right, had a good day. Oh, that's a nice suit you've got on.
No, they're all in on the act. It's just an act.
Bruv.
Look, you're an actor. Yeah. Right? Let me tell you something, right? That that whole setup, then the fact find, yeah? Your judge, your barrister, her lawyers, the judge. They're just all in on the act, and they've done it so many times that they don't even need to revise the lines. They don't even need to talk to each other. They know if we drag this on, we play games, this is going to generate money all around. You're thinking that they're there for your kids. Mum's thinking, I'm getting all this support. Look, I'm a victim. It's just a well-versed act, and again, where everyone's generating money.
And again, legal aid, I'm not 100% sure about legal aid, but again, there's so much legal aid, 15, 20 grand, for example, or whatever.
Well, each case, you understand, look, the average cost in London for a case here, so say one C100, start to finish, 3 or 4 hearings, whatnot, is roughly 25 to 30 grand. So if a father had to, submit that, C100, child access, 3-4 hearings, potentially. If it gets messy with the allegations, might be longer. And he's also challenging, say, the non-mol or an occupation order. He's looking at 25-30 bags in London, yeah? So her legal aid lawyer, is claiming 25-30 grand as well.
That's what I'm getting at.
From the government. The judge is on 2 grand a day.
Yeah.
Women's Aid are getting their funding for that another client through the door. Now, what I've said is when the Women's Aid secure, say, this one victim, yeah, they stamp it off, legal aid secure, then they send them to that, say, lawyer, yeah? How do you know that lawyer ain't said, thanks, I'll see you later, end of the week, thanks for everyone, here's another one, here's your little brown envelope, and this one's saying, I think they're all in on it. They are all in on it.
You're right, and the figures, this is where it's kind of frustrating as well, because...
Sorry, one second.
Yeah, because I also think that quite a lot of the mothers get taken advantage of because they don't realise.
Yeah, they are taken advantage of.
Because again, they're, what's the saying? I could only advise you, I can't tell you. No. They're telling you, they're not advising you.
No, but she's emotional. She's angry, she's upset, she wants to hurt.
And she's hearing what she wants to hear. Yes. But when really she needs to be, told instead. And this is what thing, because then you know for a fact. So again, when the whole process started, I was perplexed. Sorry, I've got to pay for a text. I've got to pay for an email. I've got to pay for a letter.
Yes.
I've got to pay again every form that gets submitted to court. Sorry, I've got to charge you for a phone call. You charged me for.
Yes.
Oh wow! What was that? I've got to pay. I've seen you for 5 minutes in the office. I've got to pay for that as well.
Yes.
Okay. But
this is what I'm saying. Think about this. I want you to think on a more, because I've sat there, I've thought about this in depth. Yeah. How do you generate? Think about this again. How can you generate money out of thin air? So let's say as a society, look, everyone's going to potentially on some level, I presume, get into a relationship, potentially start a family. It's humanity. It's part of the human condition. We all need to get together, settle down, create a family to ensure the survival of the species. It's inevitable, yeah? That's the reality. How do you make a model around that generates money?
Yeah.
The fact that you have love for your son, you will fight and die for your son. Now, how do you get that raw, primal pre-wiring in you as a human being you understand on a base level, you're pre-wired to want to protect your son and be with your son
Yeah.
and nurture him and pass on your genes and your learning and your knowledge. Yeah, we are pre-wired as humans to do that. Now, how can you take that primal wiring and think, right, how do I create an equation around this that generates money? So they've created a formula around basic human behavior. Hence, this is what I've said to people before now, yeah? The family courts, right? So the architects of the family court system, you have to give credit to the minds behind it, yeah? Let's put it this way. Over the last 10 years, think about this. Look, the red pill movement, all the study around the red pill and men pre-wired to do this, women are pre-wired like this, and all of that is now out in the open, and men are like, yeah, you're right, men provide, protect, blah, 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 blah. Women will look for the male that can provide they'll look at certain things. So the red pill has studied it. Bro, the family court knew this 50 years ago. They've studied the red pill, the blue pill, the green pill. They know every pill, bro. That's what I'm saying. Because they created, they made a system around the family unit. And how did they know women innately will react this way? Men, I want to protect and fight for my child. Hence, you'll give up 5, 10. You'll go get a loan. Do you see what I'm saying?
Get yourself in debt, bankruptcy. And that's what I'm saying. So I give the example of a text, a phone call. That was just me. Right? Now, as you say, going to your point, backing it up. Now, add all that up. That's just me. You did it. Another dad did it. Hundreds. Now, thousands.
No, I'll add one more to it. So your lawyer that you used at that time, while he took your 5, 10 minutes, he probably took phone calls from women's aid. Sent the client. So he's not just representing you as he sits there, tells you this is what you need to do.
Legal aid.
But he also takes legal aid money. So after your case, he's there telling some other lady, yes, you're right, you are a victim. So they're in on it.
That's what I'm getting at. So that's just an example of a couple. But now that's just my story. Your story, how many hundreds, how many thousands? Let's add that up. And hence, it goes into millions, hundreds of millions.
There's hundreds of thousands.
And again, if you add that up, and like you said now, like, why does it take so long, like, from the first hearing to the final hearing? Because they drag it out. Because they've got hundreds of thousands of other cases. Because they're like, if we drag this out more, that's good. Because then the solicitors, then they'll make money, and they will make money. The judges, etc., etc.
It's built around it, yeah.
And then the social services and the CAFCAS, etc., etc. It's all intertwined.
Oh, big time.
It's all intertwined. And this whole thing of it's meant to be neutral. It's not. It's not. It's catered for the women. Don't get me wrong. In scenarios, and I've kind of seen this myself, in scenarios, whether it's social services, whether it's CAFCAS, they actually are neutral. But the figures, unfortunately, as I said, because it's driven, the man is bad, the man is bad, the man is bad, he's portrayed as bad. Like, that's what they kind of go with. There needs to be objective, doesn't it? It needs to be like in the middle. Is that what you said? Okay. Is that what you said? Okay. You need to all stop this. It's about the kid.
But you just need some adults, some sensible adults to say, shut up, both of you. He didn't try and strangle you. And listen.
Yeah.
She's not a good cook. Who cares? Do you know what I'm saying?
But again, that's what annoys me, because I don't know whether it can be done, but this is where I kind of think, hang on a minute, maybe social services could do more. Maybe social services could turn around. Okay, maybe.
CAFCAS, right, are the court's social workers.
The court-appointed social services,
now, the thing is, right, some of the horror stories, like, okay, I'll take it from an angle that you're only going to hear more bad stories than good, yeah? I've heard a few stories where guys said, look, I was lucky, I got a good CAFCAS appointed worker. They were fair with me, so I was lucky they were fair. That was the starting position.
That's what's mad.
Yeah, but that's.
But what's fair?
No, but this is what I'm saying. For him to say they were neutral, like they didn't just assume I was guilty. They gave me a chance. They heard it and they said it as they saw it.
No, but did you hear what you just said there?
Yeah.
So you just said, what's it called? Like they were fair and neutral. Hang on a minute. That should be their job in the first place.
That's my point. But how bad is the system when a guy has to say, I got lucky because my CAFCAS worker was fair?
Yeah. Now, and just to back that up, we could open a group of that we're both in, and we could search your messages and that type of fair, and it probably comes up like every single person. But it's the fact that you're having to, like, what's it called, validate that, and turn around and say, oh, I had a CAFCAS worker. Oh, they were quite fair.
I was lucky they were fair, yeah.
I was lucky today.
But there's a lot of horror stories, and I'm going to put out there again. Now, like I said, this ain't legal advice. It's just two fathers talking here. I will say this again to everyone out there. Any interaction with CAFCAS, record it. all the legals, the professionals, all these intellects will say you can't do that. Solicitor, they'll give you all this crap. Listen to me. This is advice from the ground, from the streets, for those who are surviving the system. Record any interaction with Kafkas.
Yeah, text messages, try to do WhatsApp, screenshot them, emails, obviously.
The phone calls as well. Record them, and you don't have to tell them. People will say GDPR, X, Y, and Z. Look, forget all this bullshit. You're fighting for your kids, yeah? Record the phone calls.
Because they don't care about you.
Bottom line is, listen, inside info, record them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so carry on from that. Now, what was I saying about Kafkas? Yeah, so a lot of people, what people are saying is the horror stories that have even come out from them. So when you say they could do more, did you know Kafka social workers are trained? Do you know who they're trained by?
No.
Women's Aid. Right. Did you? Right. I found out most of the social workers are women. Most social workers are women.
Yeah. The stats out there,
right?
87% or something like that.
They are trained by women. So whose interest do you think they are there to represent? The system is fully, unfortunately, rigged.
The figure is one thing you've got to say, and I actually hate saying it. It's well run.
100%. It's the art. Look, credit to the people, and it's not that they've managed to keep it again.
For how long?
Okay, you're in your 30s, yeah, but you had no idea of these laws in place until you entered it.
Yeah.
So they've not managed to just create this system. They've managed to keep it a secret in plain sight.
That is what's mad. So I always say to everyone, what's it called? Until you don't like anything in life, until you don't experience it yourself, keep your opinions to yourself. And you have to experience it in order to be because right now you could be hearing two. If I can imagine the people sat at home watching it, they could be like, "Oh, this is just two people. They're jealous, they're envious, blah blah blah." No. I'm afraid not. We're speaking about our own experiences. We're talking about facts.
Hundreds of fathers,
hundreds of facts, and there's statistics on the internet to back up everything that we say. It's not just us two people who are angry and upset with the system. Yes, we are, but we are just stating facts like anyone would in life.
We are exposing what the system is, which I never believed it would be here like this.
And again, as I said, it just goes back to the time of when you were with this person in a relationship. You were the best dad in the world, you were the best husband in the world, and then as soon as you hit family court, and then all of a sudden this guy's the worst person in the world. He used to beat me up. He sexually abused me. He's done this. He's done that. You're kind of like, huh? Who is this person?
Yeah, you don't know, but this is what I'm saying. You really find out what your partner's about when you're in the family court.
Yeah.
Have you heard that say?
Yeah. That should be a third date.
Yeah.
I love you.
You didn't really know her until you got to family court.
Yeah, I'll take you for a tea or coffee. What are you doing Friday? Once you got the family court.
You only find out her true character in family court. That's the real person.
Exactly. But it's kind of, as I said, in a way, there we go. I know we joke about it, but obviously I know inside we're angry and upset and frustrated by it. But as I said, because again, those kids are our life. They're our reason. Soon as you hear the word dad, any adult with an ounce of intelligence, they change. Yeah, their priorities changed. That's what anybody should do. Any real respectable adult to do. Their priorities change in life. Okay, I better not sit down all day and watch movies. I better go to bed. Same time as them. And you know what kids are like, Dad, what's it called? Why should I go to sleep? You're not going to sleep. And then you're like, because it's like 8 o'clock. And then you end up falling asleep with them. Do you know what I mean? That happens.
I've done it. Bedtime story enough.
And they're going downstairs. You're like that. Wake up and drool. And but again, it's the best feeling in the world. But as I said, it's just angry and upsets you now. That again, we live in a society now that it's so easy moving on. It's so easy to throw around allegations without any validation behind it. No justification. It's now so easy to turn around. He did this. He did this. He did this. Oh, I believe you.
Okay, how do you think this society got like this? How do you think we got here? How did this happen?
I think social media has played a big massive part of it. I think social media, the internet, sounded all there. I remember when this was dial-up. Bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? And I think social media has played a big part of it. Because let's face fact, either way, what's called social media is negative, contradictory consider we're doing this. But the reason I kind of say that is the reason of you get more negative then you do positive on social media, and it's the old cliches in there. There's no publicity but bad, what's it called,
Okay, yeah.
But what I'm getting at is now people will go on, just like kind of what we're doing. We're voicing our own opinions, our own experiences. But then also at the same time, you will have 1,000, and let's face facts, sex sells.
Yes.
So me and you two could be just two average dudes who sat on the sofa talking to women, but then you're going to have a woman who's got what's it called, who's got a low-cut top on and that type of stuff, and she's going to be like, "Hi guys, so I got beat up back in the days," like that type of stuff. Overdone. Like, do you know what I mean? And the guys are going to be, it's clickbait material. That's what it's like. And I know what it's like. So, for example, you could turn on and say, "What's it called?" I've got like a celebrity. What's it called? I was in Dungeons and Dragons movie, for example. Dungeons and Dragons star on my podcast tonight, but it could be something like Chris Pine or someone important, and like, or Michelle Rodriguez from Fast Furious. They're in the movie, but instead it's like, "Oh, who's this dude?" But they still clicked on it. Do you know what I mean? You still got the like, you still got the view, and that's what it's all about. It's clickbait.
No, I get that. Okay, look, so okay, I understand that angle, but you got to understand. So social media is there. It's so easy to make allegation. Fine, we can throw mud and allegations, negativity, bad publicity. Yeah, but there's a system that supports this and acts on this. The point is, look, there's a system and laws that act on these allegations and have detrimental effects. That's what I'm saying. They have consequences and effects. So if it was just allegations, if I just made an allegation against you now, fine, you throw one at me, maybe because we're men, might have a little punch out, walk away, done, no big deal, yeah? If there's a system that gets behind one side only, then it's a bit dangerous because that has implications and impacts, that damage beyond repair.
Right. Let's just use what you said there. 2 men had a punch up. Okay, cool. What if I went home, I got my phone, I took a selfie, I put it on social media and say I've just got jumped. Like, I just got jumped by some skinheads.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you not think I'm going to get reaction from that?
I think you get a reaction, but because you're a bloke, no one will give a shit.
Like, no, this is what I'm going to get at. Now imagine 2 girls got the bus up and that type of stuff. Now she puts a picture on to say, I've just been beat up.
Yes.
Who do you think's going to get more reaction?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Right, because, again, we live in a society that the woman is lesser. Right? That's how it's supposed to be. Not in family core, but in real life.
Society, right? There's an acceptance in society that she is effectively, she was a victim, then she's a victim. And people automatically assume
there'll be a hunt, there'll be a lynching for whoever hit her and that type of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So now, moving on, obviously I've touched on this and I've banged on about this loads, and obviously it's open, shut case and that type of stuff. Eleanor Williams, for some reason, it's the only female girls I know who fully by heart. So Eleanor Williams is this girl, I can't remember where she's from, but basically she put a picture of herself on social media. This is how manipulation on social media, we talked about this off camera. So she actually, she put a picture on social media, battered and bruised and things like that, and they got thousands of comments. And she and I think her status was of like, they're not going to get away with this. And again, why would you do it? Because you just wanted to seek attention. It's like the same person who checks in, I'm in hospital, like that type of stuff, and then somebody messages them and say, "Is everything okay?" Or I'll DM you, babe. Because you're doing it because you just want attention. That's attention. So, anyways, this Eleanor Williams, she put the picture on and that type of stuff, and then all of a sudden people are messaging her, blah blah blah. Then for some bizarre reason, she outed 3 Muslim Pakistani men. She outed them. Right, these guys all had families, had a shop. One was a shopkeeper and that type of stuff. Then there was like a lynching going on. Obviously, yobs, wannabe vigilantes went round, smashed the guy's job, and as usual, race got bought into it. Get back to your country. Even though they were born here. But hey, who cares about that? Do you know what I mean? We're all the same at the end of the day. You know what I mean? What is it? What is it? The racist said, "There's no black in the Union Jack." Like, you know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Back a few years now.
Yeah, exactly.
You're showing your age now, yeah.
We're bringing it back. Joke. What's it called? And then, you know what I mean? And that type of stuff. She put it on social media and everything. Then obviously there was so much hate. These people, they hate, and guess what? Then they got found out by the police. They got arrested. And whoever
went to jail for 6 months, isn't it? I remember.
Yeah, one of them actually got to jail, no questions asked. He got flung in, didn't even go to court or nothing like that. He just got found guilty because of a picture and because of her word. Okay, So they didn't even investigate properly. And as usual, the police got fined and they got done and blah, blah, blah. There was internal investigations. People got sacked, whatever. Again, there was just a scapegoat, whatever. It was hilarious, right? But as a man, it's scary because this is what you have to face as a man every single day, false allegations. And especially if the fact, don't forget, like, again, I know it's separated, but just imagine you being in family court, you've been accused of this type of stuff. So again, you're already at a down, at a negative already. So going back to this lovely human being that she is, right? So it came out, and obviously then all the backlash and everything like that. The funny thing was, do you know how she got outed? Her mum.
Oh, okay.
So Eleanor Williams, again, you can Google it, it's on YouTube and everything. She hit herself with a hammer. How messed up in the head must you be to hit yourself with a hammer?
Yeah, listen, that's pretty serious, man. Flipping heck.
The mother's disorder and everything. No, shock. What's it called? She hit herself with a hammer. She put that on. What's it called? They've hit me, blah, 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 that type of stuff. One guy who didn't even have anything to do with this, he turned around and obviously he said he got thrown up and that type of thing. His shop, his windows got smashed, and he got messages and that type of stuff, DMs, that people were messaging him and saying, what's it called? I'm going to kids and your wife in front of you and this type of stuff.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah.
Imagine reading that.
Yeah.
He had to, deactivate everything, got into hiding and everything like this because he'd been outed on mugs, like on social media,
false allegations,
who think they know that they think they know. Like, again, you're guilty before you're proven.
The problem is, look, when blokes are placed with certain allegations, for some reason, like I said, it's easy. Even as a man, I know if someone accuses a man of something, it's psychologically just easier to believe that he's guilty than if it was a woman. Do you see what I'm saying? Is it because we're conditioned? Look, we are conditioned. Last 20, 30 years, everything we see, hear, read, media, news, I think we are conditioned a certain way to support this societal position. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing is, as I said, this was just one case which got outed. Again, as I said,
they were lucky that she got outed.
Yeah.
So if her mother hadn't come forward
and
outed her, those blokes would still be in prison now.
Well, but the thing is, and this is what kind of frustrates me about media, because why would media talk about the aftermath? The guy was in jail. What's it called? I think all three of them got put in jail and that type of stuff. Do you think like they're going to recover from this?
No.
And the thing is, again, let's remember, people have already read that article. They read their names on social media and that type of stuff. They're not going to happen the fact that this girl was a nutcase and ended up doing this to herself. What's it called? And again, people like her, which is an evil, nasty individual, and she's already getting what she deserves. But again, it's disgusting because I think she already got X amount of years in jail, not a massive time. Okay, she's got jailed. What about the trauma and the after effect that has left on these other guys?
The thing is this, though. Let's put it another way. That's those men were unfortunately victims. The damage is done on them. I hope they can recover. But think about this from another angle. She has just discredited those genuine great victims. You see what I'm saying? There's genuine. Think about that as well. There's genuine victims out there who are scared to come forward, who are scared. The humiliation and everything they've been through. She's just discredited them. Unfortunately, she's made it worse for them. Do you see what I'm saying?
And this is what it is, because obviously there is people out there. And
there's genuine victims that are not getting the help and support because there's so many of these other sort of.
But the thing is, as I said, what kind of frustrates me is, again, you're hearing one or two stories. So obviously the world without one, Amber Heard.
So how many others you're saying that we don't hear about?
That's the thing, you want to hear it, but why would you hear about it? Why would you? Because it's bad-mouthing a woman. Why would you? Because the man is the threat. The man is misogynistic, and this is what happens these days. So why would it? And again, it ties back to family court. Because why is it? Oh no, the woman's the bad person. No, we're not going to make money from this. Again, my opinion, right? But again, there you go. Look at Johnny Depp. Look at Amber Heard. Look at Amber Heard. Yeah. Amber Heard was voted like in the top 5 sexiest women a couple of years ago. Again, let's remember this girl was in Aquaman, and all these other TV shows, like movies and that type of stuff. But don't forget, Johnny Depp was the darling of Hollywood.
Yes.
Well, who did the media run with? Who did they run to?
Yes.
Johnny Depp was the bad man.
Yeah, he was done. He lost the contracts.
And she was the amazing one.
He lost all the contracts. He lost the Pirates of the Caribbean.
The franchise and everything like that.
They said he made. Don't quote me on figures. I'm not numbers man.
Millions,
but about mil, he took a loss of.
I probably said quadruple that, to be fair with you, because it was Johnny Depp. Like, because I think someone like him could demand between 50 and 100 per movie million.
Yeah,
million.
so he's lost.
It's not like £1,500 like me. Like, do you know what I mean? So again, when you kind of look at this and said it's very frustrating, and then I said we see it more and more. And obviously, let's talk about the one which just happened in a few days, the Manchester City footballer.
Oh,
Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just come out. So again, let's remember this was the second trial because the first one was a mistrial. Okay, so they didn't find anything then, so they took him back to court, and again, he's got it. And guess what? He got found not guilty.
There you go.
Okay, so his contract with Manchester City ran out in the summertime, June 31st, because, yeah, I think it's June the 31st, because all the free transfers happen on the 1st of July. I'll play FIFA. Like, that's why I know. It's all them dates, other way around. Anyway, but now, there you go. That guy. And again, let's remember the girls who found the text message. Obviously, the police with the text messages. The girls were openly saying that they've had sex with him and that type of stuff. Nothing bad. Nothing negative. But they took him to court.
Yeah.
He got found not guilty. Right? Why is more not being made of this?
But that's what I'm saying. Everyone knows the football. Was it Mendy? It was his first.
Yeah, yeah.
John,
Benjamin Mendy.
Benjamin Mendy. Sorry, I don't play FIFA, so as you know, I'm not even that much into football. So, but yeah, Benjamin Mendy. Yeah. So it was Benjamin, did you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, Benjamin Mendy. Yeah. But the women that took him to court, their name, no one knows their names.
No,
I don't know. Do you know their names?
Yeah, no, that's what annoys me. And it's kind of like, hang on a minute, why don't we know their names? Why don't we?
Yeah.
Why not?
At least give other guys a heads up, like, they can stay away.
So again, okay, let's dive into that more. Why is it every investigation which is always outed? Okay, no, I apologise. Let me retract that one. Why is it every single allegation which is made, regardless of against a man?
It's clearly okay.
You know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Okay, so if the allegation was made from one man to another man, yeah, I think both would be splattered all over everywhere. No one cares, yeah.
Yeah.
But with this now, even
What if it was two women who said it about each other? Do you think that'll get splattered?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's go back to the Benjamin Mendy one. 4 women. Okay. But not one of them even gets a mention. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you're incentivizing
this
behavior.
Right. What was fantastic, and again, it was amazing, and you don't really hear about this. So he did his interview, and obviously he came out, and obviously the reports, and it's the first ever time he talked to the reporters. Bear in mind, he's a French international. He was the world's most expensive left back. He signed for Manchester City, which is the best team in the land. Well, actually, Europe was the won the Champions League. So again, the top dogs, right? And again, right, he got out with anything like that. The first thing he said yesterday's interview, Alhamdulillah, and then he walked off. He walked off. That was it. That was like,
great,
boyo, right? That's what he said, right? So, anyways, that's all come out now. What's going to happen about the women?
Nothing.
Why would there?
So, but okay, look, I don't
But
know
the whole,
much about
but the whole,
criminal
the
court
whole
yet, but
point
with
is
the courts, okay, in the family courts, yeah, you disprove 10 allegations. Mum is categorically proved a liar, and she still gets rewarded. Yeah, we know this.
Yeah.
That's the family court. I don't know much about the criminal court as such, yeah, or the civil court. Surely there must be some backlash because you can't create that much noise, yeah, and then completely disprove twice without the court saying you have now, taken so much of court's time, this and that. You are liable for some sort of penalty because it's possible that it looks like you were clearly making this up.
Yeah.
Surely there must be something.
Yeah. It's bad, isn't it? Because again, the reason it's probably getting recognition because of what he is and who he is, and the fact that the guy's a multimillionaire.
So if he was a nobody, right?
Right. But even then, even though he's a nobody, he'll still get outed. But do you think he'll see the same, repercussions? No, because the little man will get vilified.
Oh, completely, yeah.
He will get vilified.
Okay, look. Okay, so with this whole scenario now, yeah, the family court, again, I just want to say the word. So use the word great. Yeah.
We call it the silver bullet.
Yeah, the silver bullet. The silver bullet. The great allegations are also used in family court now. Yeah. Now this is the thing now. Yeah, which
theme.
I've got an interview with a Mackenzie friend tomorrow, which I'm going to touch on this specifically as well. They try and get the details. In the family court, I know guys in the family court who have been accused of rape. Yeah. They're not in the criminal court. There's no charges. There's no police. There's no investigation. But in the family court, these charges, these allegations are used to deny contact openly, and even allegations of child touching your own children inappropriately. Those allegations are made to sometimes
deny contact. If the case is going in father's directions, that's when you start throwing these silver bullets out there. Yeah. Now, even though there's no criminal investigation in some cases, so the family courts themselves don't take them seriously. Because if you're in family court now, let's say some mother makes rape allegations, yeah, surely the judge will say, wow, this is serious, we need to now report this. They don't. So how serious? They don't even take them that seriously in family court.
Yeah. So again, yes, obviously it was non-legal people here, okay, who haven't spent hundreds of thousands going to law school, etc. So let's try to use common sense to us little people over here, us minions, as it were. Okay.
Brokies.
Right. Yeah. Right. So yeah. So let me get this right. So again, let's break down what you've just said. Every single allegation is thrown at you.
Right.
None of it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you get the silver bullet thrown at you in court. The judge is like, oh, really? Okay, that's fine. We'll have to look into this. Okay. Would you not think, for us little people, Your Honour, it's the first time it's been mentioned in family court.
Mm-hmm.
The police are involved. The police have not been aware. She's made X, Y, and Z allegation against me before.
Why did she wait till now for the
Why did she wait from now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was about to get contact.
Or if I've already got contact.
Yes.
And she's hating the fact that I'm getting more contact.
Yes, it stops the case progressing at the
So
pace
okay,
it was.
so again, it's a bit of a theme, isn't it?
Yes.
So the worst thing you could throw and hit any male is the silver bullet. It's the worst, sickest thing in the world you could throw at anybody.
Yes.
It's disgusting. Again, talk about the footballers, we talk about Hollywood A-listers, we talk about all these innocent victims. Again, the ones who don't even get any recognition of like that as well. They just get insulted, brought up in the word, and you don't mean again. So you look at this and you kind of think, how? So you've accused me of DV. So let me get this right. Okay, so when you first come, like again, they're speaking to women's aid and that type of stuff. Okay, go with DV because you get legal aid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if this individual has done this to you, would that not be the first thing you say?
Yeah.
Isn't that the most traumatic?
Yes. Yes.
And again, I apologize if this is sensitive for some people out there. But what I'm getting at is, why would you wait till the last?
Yes. Why would you wait after? Yeah. Why would you wait well into the case before you start throwing that one? Or are you saving the most powerful one? Are you saving your ace card?
Listen, that's what's vile.
You don't want to throw your ace card straight away, do you?
And that's what's vile.
Or maybe their advice to say, listen, start off with a bit of coercive control, say the odd slap, bit of this. If the judges, hopefully the judges on our side, which they normally are, we won't need to do it. If the case starts going the other way, we'll save that for later. Don't worry. But it must be something like that, I'm presuming.
Yeah, yeah.
Because why you wouldn't?
Yeah, you would presume. And like again, if we had the blueprint, we'll probably be rich.
Yeah.
Again, who are we? What's it called?
Well, I'm a prisoner, bro. Who am I? I'm a prisoner, bro. I have no human rights. I am a prisoner.
I'm just a visitor in the south at the moment.
Yeah. You just come to visit me, in my soul.
I don't want to get lynched when I get back. Like I said, but and again, like so the scenario, as I said, these people's life have been tarnished. So I have a friend of mine who's in a similar sort of industry to me. He went through family court and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The most loving father in the world. Everyone knew this and that type of stuff. Very, very out there. Everyone knew it. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. And what happened? Went through family court for X amount of years and that type of stuff. The usual DV, the religion got bought into it. He's going to run away to a different country and all this type of stuff.
Oh, right. The Pakistani card.
The
honour card.
Yeah.
The honour card.
I don't know if it was Pakistan, but you know what I'm getting at. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anything.
The Bangladesh.
Anything.
Honour card. Yeah.
Irrelevant of the fact that they were born and bred in this country.
Yeah.
But irrelevant of that fact because at the end of the day, that's the colour of the skin. But so anyways, and we kind of go on. And then obviously it came out as well that the other party, the child's mother and that type of stuff, had actually slated the parent on social media. It's out there. Slated them. They've been warned by the police plenty of times, going, like, you need to stop talking about this individual. Okay. Again, you've gone through courts and that type of stuff. They got, I believe they got X amount of what's it called, contact and that type of stuff. And then it picked up, and it was going well.
Okay. So
in fact, the other party It was the most mad scenario in the world. And again, so they were in the courts,
Aye.
and this is what somebody told me. So I might not be saying it word for word. So they were in the courts, and all of a sudden, again, family courts obviously very private, kind of like me and
Yeah,
you are now. Just the judge opposite, just like the judge, knock on the door, and again, all of a sudden, as I said, I think there was some code word or something like that happened, and the judge kind of looked, and obviously the legal representations for both parties, it's kind of like they had an inkling. They kind of went. So they were like, okay, yeah, you need to step outside and that type of stuff. So they stepped outside. And then I remember the guy telling me that his solicitor told him, just hang fire a sec. Let them go first.
Right.
So, eh?
Bit bizarre.
They walked, exactly, bizarre. They walked out and the police were there. Because don't forget, don't forget in the court and that type of stuff, security have no power.
Yes.
They have no power.
So the police were there.
So the police were called in. And that type of stuff, the card, whatever. Like, so the police got called in. Well, know what's mad? So,
Yeah, go on.
as you know from your own experience, when we go to family court and that type of stuff, you get searched, don't you? You have to go for the metal detectors and
of
like
course
that.
you do.
So I'm guessing you're probably like me, you have a folder, you prepared and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah, you got to go for all that.
As I said, like sometimes obviously I wear my glasses and obviously I've got like, I always take a bottle of water, you have a sip of your water. I don't know what the thing I'm going to put in my water, but there's obviously your phone, you take everything out your belt, and it annoys me. Sometimes you've got to take your shoes off, and I'm a big guy getting up and down. I just lift weights, I don't do cardio. Right, okay, and you do this. Anyways, there was drugs in her bag.
What? Drugs brought into court?
Yeah. There was drugs in the bag.
Flipping ass. Bit
When the guy
crazy,
told me,
innit?
I was like, so what? There was drugs in her handbag.
Flip it. Listen,
So the security, obviously looked for the bag,
Yeah.
and obviously they've seen it, but they couldn't do anything about it.
So they call the police.
So they have to externally phone the police.
yeah,
The police come, then eventually, and then obviously she gets pulled into the room, and then they got drugs, and she got escorted off the premises.
Did she not
and
get
that type of stuff.
arrested?
Yeah, she got taken in for question and whatnot. And I was like, I'm sorry, you say this again? Right, let me get this right. You were in court, right, and then you were in the room, and the security guard comes. You walk out, and then police officers are waiting, and they took her in the room, and then they were scouted off the premises and took her in for questioning. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Right.
I've heard some stories, but this is,
yeah. Right.
This is
yeah. And then,
definitely
what
new.
was mad is obviously then he asked the solicitor, tell me what's happened, and that type of stuff. He goes, well, you got accused. Apparently, you put it in her bag.
Hold on, let me work this out.
Go on.
So this geezer's in court.
Mhm.
You got all the people there, judge,
Yep.
barrister, lawyer, this and that. You're all sitting there, knock on the door. Someone has a little word with the judge. They all go outside. This geezer gets told to stay inside, yeah? And it turns out police are there. They're arresting the mother involved in this case who brought drugs into the court.
Yeah.
And,
I know.
And the classic one is just to make this, just to top it off, she then blamed the father for planting the drugs on her.
Yeah. So again, go from my experience and your experience. Courts are humongous.
Yeah.
Never been there before. Like, courts are humongous. You don't sit like we are together. Right?
No, it's not as cozy. It's not as
You're
cozy.
somewhere over there, and there's someone over there.
It's not as cozy.
Like,
yeah,
and obviously, depending if you have any orders in place and that
No,
type of
but
stuff.
it's so far fetched. But you know,
Innit?
when we talk about the lunacy of the family court, this is what I'm saying. Look, if you were in the criminal court and you tried that, yeah, you wouldn't get away with it. If you weren't at work and you tried that, you couldn't get away with some bullshit excuse like that any other place. And that's what I'm saying to you. What people don't understand, the lunacy of the family court. If mother walks in with a shooter in a bag, walks in, and mother says, "Oh, I think my ex planted it in my bag." That's the only place in the world you can blame your ex. You could walk into family court, right? I think if you're a mother, you could walk into family court and just take someone out with a shooter, and then blame my ex forced me to do it. You could get away with it in the family court.
But what's mad is, as much as this may sound far-fetched, trust me, it's a reliable source. I put it that way. It really is. It's been backed up over and over and over. But again, it goes back to it. Okay,
Mate,
So would you not think if this was some sort of criminal proceedings, do you not think this would have made headlines?
yes.
Like mother
yes.
found with, like what's it called? Woman found with drugs in
Yes,
court, right?
yes.
But because it's family court, right? Again,
Yes.
there
And
we
it's
go.
mother.
Even me explaining this to you and the audience there, right? It sounds far fetched. Even when I heard it, I had to
No, but
say,
it's the lunacy
but,
of the family
yeah,
court. People
right.
don't get
Okay,
it.
but again, let's flip it. If a man was found with it,
You're done. It's game over. You're done. You're getting jail. Straight. You're done. I'm telling you now.
but you're never going to see your kid ever again.
You ain't any chance you had of seeing your kid is definitely gone. Anything and everything is used against you, and the fact is, even when you ain't even done anything, is used against you.
So like this is kind of the thing, and you kind of like I'm so sorry, like I'm so confused by this. Is this really happening? And like thank you, and you're like, what is going on? So again, when he said this to me and that type of stuff, obviously when they went back to court, and what kind of annoyed me is obviously they didn't really touch on this. So I was like, sorry, did you not like tell your solicitor to go on this? So they did. They told her to do a drug test. You had to pay out of her own money. And I was like, oh, okay, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, but hold on. Was there no implication to say, okay, let me rephrase this. A parent who is a resident parent
Resident parent.
walks into court with drugs, yeah? Understand what we're saying?
Yeah.
A resident parent walked into a family court, bold as brass, with drugs in their bag, yeah? And there is no one concerned about the child.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? How's that possible?
And apparently it was the white powder stuff as well.
Right, so we're not talking about a bit of herb, yeah?
No.
We're talking about hard drugs, yeah?
Mhm. That class A? I don't know how it works.
So, a resident parent, and let's put it another way, a parent walks into a family court who is predominantly there to protect children, yeah, finds drugs on a parent. Forget which parent, on one parent who is in custody of a child, and there is no implications, no comebacks, nothing. And this, people, is the family court in England.
That's not bad, isn't it? The fact that is, it sounds far fetched. You might think it is.
That's
But
the
I know, because I've seen all the stuff and that myself personally. And I'm kind of like, okay, what happened?
Mate.
Like, hang on a minute. Because if that was the guy, you would automatically get told, no contact.
You
Get
wouldn't.
lost.
If that was a guy with Class A in family court, the fact that for him to see his children, mate, that dream is gone. already.
Yeah.
He needs to be getting a real lawyer to go to criminal court to potentially not, facing more serious charges. But this is exactly, you know what, this makes complete sense. They brushed it under the carpet.
Mhm.
When unfortunately when mothers are proved to be, engaging in these sort of things and lies and allegations, and it all turns out to be false and bad behavior, as I've been told before by many, the judge and the family court itself will try and steer you away from that and brush it under the carpet. And this is what I'm saying, they will keep throwing mud till they can find something that sticks on father, to then justify father is guilty, he's an abuser, go on that course, give us £2,000.
Yeah.
That is the pattern of the family court.
And the bad thing is, then from that, his ex-partner, the kid's mum's boyfriend, I think it is, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So he, the child in question, he actually told the school that mum's boyfriend's hitting me.
Right.
Okay. So he got questioned by the police.
Who? The mum's boyfriend?
Yeah, the mum's boyfriend.
Right.
The kid's a liar. Don't believe him. Dad's influencing him what to say.
His biological dad?
Yeah.
Obviously not mum's boyfriend.
Because why would the biological dad tell the truth? Why would he not want to protect his kid? But let's remember, the child told the school. He didn't tell the dad. They told the school.
Do you know what's getting worrying, yeah?
No. It's not that. Right.
Sorry, Karen.
So that was like, social services obviously got involved. They were like, okay, we spoke. There's nothing. Like, no. When we've asked him, he just said, oh, he made it up. I hang on a minute. So, okay. So obviously I said to my friend, okay, explain to me the conversation. And he goes, like basically the kid's mum was trying to say I was telling the kid what to do, what to
Right.
say.
Mm-hmm.
But I went, well, hang on a minute. But you haven't seen the kid for like a few days. So let's be honest, kids kids are not like actors. We can't
Yeah.
remember. But
Yeah.
I can't remember the lines I did this morning when I was filming it. So never mind now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And again, I'm adult, right? And this is a child who's been to school, he's excited, etc., that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kids have had.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden he's making this up. Then, about a month or so later, they've got a kid together.
Right.
And so this is the mum's boyfriend.
Right,
the
they've
mum.
got the kid, yeah.
Right, they've got a kid
The
together.
new boyfriend and mum
Yeah.
have a kid.
They've got a kid.
Right.
He told his nursery that dad's been hitting me.
Oh, bloody hell.
Okay. So hang on a minute. So the first time when the older child told, like,
So
you know,
when the stepson, there's a
Yeah.
stepson, when the stepson said, stepdaddy is hitting me, they didn't believe him.
yeah, the when
They're saying biological dad put him up to say that.
was edified, apparently straight away.
Now, when the paternal child said, daddy's hitting me,
Yeah.
what happened?
Right, okay. So he got questioned again by the police. Yeah, he went on a course, like he wasn't allowed in the house.
Right.
Was that right? Was that what he, yeah, I think that's what he told me what happened. Right, he wasn't allowed in the house and that type of stuff.
Right.
Then it was back to normal.
Okay, look, this is what I don't understand, yeah.
Not one kid, 2 kids,
But
right?
the social
Them-
services,
they told the schools, right? Not like they've told, like, you know, the dad's there to say it.
Yeah.
It's not like the social.
they've
He,
told
like the
school,
biological
yeah.
dad's turned around and said, "My son just told me this." Bruv, they have told the schools themselves directly,
Mate,
right?
this is,
And then, that could be, he could be lying, but then the other child,
I said the same thing.
he said the same.
Saying he's corroborated. There's a witness and another victim.
Yeah. So, okay, maybe the first one, what's it called? His dad might
Telling
have tried to
porkies.
coerce him.
Let's say the first one's selling porkies, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
The second one. And then, like I said, they had a little chat with dad and they're back home. No big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's gather the facts of this individual, okay? So, they got found with drugs in court.
Right.
Right.
Excuse me.
They've, not once but twice, the partner's been found to hitting the child.
Right.
Okay. Being questioned by the police and that type
Uh-huh.
of stuff. Social services got involved. He had to do this course and that type of stuff. But apparently he was willing and cooperating. He was allowed in the house.
Right, okay.
Okay. Dad's still a bad man. Apparently, the biological dad was still a bad man.
Yes.
Okay. Historically proven to that previously, the dad, when they broke up, the biological dad was worried about the mum. She wasn't answering the phone enough.
Uh-huh.
And they still had the house keys at the time. Went out to the house. There was like alcohol and there was drugs there.
Right, okay.
Obviously, he didn't have a clue. So he phoned the police saying, "Look, can you meet me there? Because I don't want to be accused of something."
Okay.
So the police met him there. He goes, "Look, I'm worried about it. She's gone missing. She's not answering the phone. She's about to be collecting the child."
Aye.
The police turned up, said it was ecstasy tablets.
Flipping it.
Right, so this is before the courts.
Yeah.
That's on record. So let's add that one, right, to the fact that she found drugs in court. Then when the judge told her to do the drugs test, she took a time. Like, then even I Googled this, and like I said, when I spoke to the biological dad, and there's a couple of us, obviously, we were out, and we talked about this.
Uh-huh.
Again, please don't quote me. Obviously, I haven't looked at this on the internet or something like that. It's something like, it stays in your system for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, she basically took a time and went past that.
Right, okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Gotcha.
And that type of stuff. It's like, okay. And then the fact that the stepdad, mummy's new boyfriend, not 1 kid, but 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is in family court. You would think, pretending you're in criminal court, you would think again, all like the defence, blah 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 blah, and you would think the jury, I'm just going to sit back and be like, bruv, I'm going to get not guilty. This is going to get thrown out because again, the facts play on themselves.
Yeah.
No.
You'd have thought so, yeah.
This is family court. Right, family court. Right, stop being stupid. Right, that's too obvious.
Yeah.
Right, right, the guy's like saying to me, I'm like, bro, it's family court. Relax, man. Right, okay. Let's put the drinks on hold. Let's put the strippers on hold. Right, let's chill out. Okay, we'll go to the chicken shop after. Calm down, like that type of stuff. Like, bro, this isn't going to happen again. Let's compose ourselves. Let's carry on with it. Okay, so we carry on going to court and that type of stuff. And then, as I said, things are going well and that type of stuff. And then they were in court. So at the time when they were together,
Mm-hmm.
she converted, like, and she converted to Islam
Right. Okay.
and that type of stuff. And I was like, oh, that's quite cool. And, again, she changed the surname to be the same as his, the same as the child and everything like that. Fantastic.
Okay.
But then as soon as they broke up, that was straight away gone. She's gone back to whatever she was beforehand. She changed her surname back to theirs, like that type of stuff. But the child still remained the same as the father's and everything like that. So anyway, carried on that type of conversation. And then he was telling me, like, when they went to the courts and that type of stuff, and you could tell the judge was getting annoyed because it's a rarity. There was a good judge at the time, apparently. I tried to ask her when I went as well. And what he's trying to say is, like, she was trying to say, okay, so what do you want? I want Eids, I want Christmases, I want New Year's, blah blah blah. Sorry,
I thought she reverted back to what you said.
Yeah.
So she don't.
I thought you weren't Muslim anymore. Oh well, I don't really have a religion as such. Okay, so you're not Muslim.
So why was she?
And you're not Christian. Okay, stop. Right, Dad, you're gonna get Eids. You're doing Christmas mornings. Gonna do alternative New Years. 50-50 holidays. And you're gonna get X amount of nights per week and that type of stuff.
That's not bad.
For my dad, the fact that you get more than every other weekend, it's a win.
Yeah.
And how pathetic is that? Every other weekend is a win as a dad. How pathetic is that?
Yeah.
Right? That's standard, by the way. That's the man blueprint, like the single father blueprint. And it was kind of like, okay, fantastic. So again, this has been in place for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and that type of stuff. And then, like I said, that's kind of done. And then you're kind of like, okay, fantastic. As far as I'm aware, like, that's how it's been for quite a while and that type of thing.
All right.
And it's kind of very similar to my angle. So again, obviously, when I went to family court and everything like this, I had all these type of things, and I thought everything was going to work out in my favour. Because again, I was arrogant, and I was blinded because I didn't have a clue. I was listening to my amazing, sexy solicitor with his suit, and I thought, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He's listening to me. But then when he would go to family court, he would do the opposite. About, no, I don't want every other weekend. Whoa, what's going on here? Right?
Well, so he said something else. He said one thing to you, and when you went inside, he was saying something else.
Yeah. It was like he was trying to compromise with them. Don't ever compromise. Don't ever give in. Don't ever agree to anything.
Right. Okay.
Don't do any courses, etc. Obviously, as like you said earlier on, don't do any contact centres or anything like that, because then you're admitting that you've done something.
Yeah.
You haven't. And again, how sickening is that? Why should you have to see your child at a contact centre? You haven't done anything.
I do find that quite.
You haven't done anything.
Sickening, yeah.
So this individual could form X, Y, and Z allegations and that type of stuff, but you're the one who's going to suffer. How?
Yeah.
Back it up. Right. So anyways, kind of moving on and that type of stuff now. My own personal experience, and kind of going into the last chapter and that type of stuff. I got everything forward against me, as you can imagine, and that type of stuff. And again, when I started representing myself, I was like, bring it on. And obviously,
just to clarify, just so people hear, you got to a certain point with your solicitor, and then from some point you decided that I will self-represent. I don't need no one. I will self-represent, sort of thing, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think they were conveying what I wanted to. I didn't think. At the end, it's like, okay, it's as simple as this: who knows the child best? You or some stranger?
Right, Riz. Before you carry on with your conclusion, I'm gonna have a quick break.
Yeah.
Close the windows because there's a lot of these mosquitoes and stuff coming in.
Yeah,
exactly.
That orange jumpsuit.
Right, Riz, we are back. Carry on with the sort of your conclusion about your own journey and what you think of all of this, as you were talking earlier.
Again, family court, and obviously as I discussed with my friend and obviously yourself and lots of hundreds of thousands of other dads, it always seems to be a theme. And then kind of going on to me, because we haven't really discussed about myself and that type of stuff, which I've purposely, intentionally done. So again, the whole thing, as we kind of said, it's like a women's ed blueprint, because everything that we're talking, you've agreed and other people would agree. Please leave the comments. Please let us know your thoughts, what you think. Again, our own opinions, that's what matters the most. So please do drop a comment. And so anyways, so again, the TV thing from the beginning, I'm the worst dad in the world, etc., and that type of stuff. Okay, fantastic. But I'm still getting to see my kid. Things were going well personally for me. I was having regular contact with my son. And again, it was absolutely fantastic. Then, the next week, fast asleep. Bang, 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 bang. The police turned up at my house.
Right.
What's it called? They took me in and said, what's it called? Rape allegation.
Grape allegations.
Rape allegation. Silver bullet. And as you can imagine at the time, you're kind of like, what is going on? Again, you didn't even have an inkling of this. You didn't have any inkling, no idea what's going on.
Shock and horror.
Well, yes, complete shock and awe. And you're kind of like, what's going on? Came out.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, obviously I'm not going to name any names or anything like that. And I was kind of like, wow. It was from something over 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago.
Wow, okay.
And I was kind of like, interesting. Okay. So the point of it is, because of what I do from a career and that type of thing.
Just so I don't lose track of it. Your child access case running well, it was going good. You were looking to get some good contact. Out of the blue, one morning, bang, 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 police raid your house, take you away, grape allegations from a decade ago nearly. Right.
Yeah. And again, obviously, what was quite amusing, and I say the word amusing there very tactically, is that this was never ever mentioned once in family court, ever. Never mentioned.
So yeah, and the case had been running for. If you got to that stage, then obviously it's been running for quite a while, and no mention of any of this.
Nope, nothing at all.
Right. Okay.
So I'm kind of like, okay, and then we actually kind of later found out after some digging that people had contacted the local media to say that I was going to be attending court to face the charges.
So
okay.
Someone contacted
the media. They tell inferior me, nobody. On the grand scheme of things, who am I?
But because you were working in that sort of industry, celebrity model is lucrative.
As I said, again, I've got
a following.
Yeah,
you have a reputation.
A following, exactly. Then we found out again, as I said, the most important thing to remember is there is no evidence.
Right.
There is nothing. There's nothing on the mobile phone. Obviously, there's no DNA, for example. It is a simple word of he said, she said.
Okay.
Right. This will be going on for near enough 3 years now. 3 years. Clearly, such a dangerous to society that I'm allowed to go wherever I want, to do whatever I want, and that type of stuff.
Okay, so you've got no restrictions as such.
No restrictions as such.
Okay.
So, again, when this media article got put out...
Wait, can I just interject there? So, normally with this sort of allegations, don't they have a lot more restrictions or even in some cases they're held in, I don't know the technical term, in remand, or they don't, they have conditions, bail conditions is it called?
Yeah. So yes, obviously I did some digging about. I spoke to people, and I asked people. It's not like I'm some regular jailbird. In fact, it's my first ever contact with the law, and I can safely say that the most. Yeah, obviously I won't say too much, but yes, but yeah, exactly. Because if it was as severe as they're making out,
you're a danger to society.
Dangerous to society. Thank you. Then you would be locked up. You would be on remand. You would be on tag.
Right. So
you were not allowed to leave your house.
So if they deemed you as a danger to society, you wouldn't have the freedom you do now.
Yeah.
In theory.
And again, after a couple of years.
Right. Yeah. So it's not like 6 months. You've been out for yonks. Well, you never went in. Nothing. Yeah.
Never went in.
Yeah.
Experience itself. So again, as I said, it's kind of disgusting because that it came out that individuals were sending private court documents to people in my industry. These are legal child court documents, and as you're aware, the only people who should be in that is the judge,
respondent,
you, and them. That is it.
If you leak those documents, I know for a fact, if a father was to start posting, I know definitely for fathers, if you start posting court documents, family court documents, you can be put inside contempt of court.
Okay, so now you tell me this. Why is it when I was at family court not long ago, the fact that the judge actually mentioned this, she got a little telling off?
Again, I'm not
even though
surprised.
She openly admitted it, right, and historically proven that her and the family have been what's it called, warned by the police, etc., and that type of stuff. But bad mouth for me on social media.
So again, goes back to what we were saying. In family court, the judge will try his best to brush mother's flaws and faults, lies, deceit under the carpet, because the judges are their backstop and mandate goes back to the Istanbul Convention, women and girls being victims. So regardless of the bad behavior, he will try his utmost best to cover up for mum. That is played out in what you just said.
As I say, like it's kind of it does show the full scale of the justice system. I myself, I have every faith in the criminal court system. I really do. Not the family court system, but the criminal court system. I do have full faith in it, and I know the right outcome will happen.
Yeah,
I
'cause
have
they
my utmost
require
confidence in that. I really do.
Yeah, because they require law and evidence. They require evidence, facts, and they have to prove that
Exactly.
a crime took place.
And the funny thing is, it's easy for anybody to go out there and write an article about someone.
Mhm.
And again, we talk about social media, and I keep talking about social media. We are blinded by this. If somebody puts something on, you read the clickbait title. My clickbait title, as soon as you Google me, that was it. I was done.
Yeah.
And because why would people want to forget me? Johnny Depp, as we just discussed, he got
Yeah.
dropped.
Yeah.
All these famous footballers who are millions and millionaires, you know what I mean? Younger than I am.
Brad Pitt.
Than I am.
You see what Brad Pitt's going through now as well.
Well, there we go. Brad Pitt, and also Jonathan Majors, who plays Kang in the Marvel movies, and that he was in Creed 3, and there we go, that type of stuff, right? And there we go. And again, no evidence or nothing like that, but there we go.
Careers have been destroyed.
Careers have been destroyed. People don't want to touch it. They're even
Lives have been
talking about
destroyed.
recasting, Marvel, whatever. Right, but anyways, getting back to the topic in hand.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is, again, like, it's like, okay, where's the proof? Back up on this. Okay, so what I'm getting at now is, why is this being put out there? What's it called? In these ridiculous clickbait articles, ridiculous medium and that type of stuff. But it's funny because people read the heading, straight away they assume that individual is guilty.
Yes.
But when you actually read it, it kind of like, it's still got to do with this, it's still got to do with this, there's no conditions. And that type
I
of stuff.
see what you mean.
So
Sorry.
maybe,
yeah.
I know people don't have the attention span as much due to social media because of likes of TikTok videos and Snapchat videos. People have that perception of 10 to 15 seconds. They don't want to watch anything or read anything beyond 10 to 15 seconds because we're bored.
So they read the first title. It says some terrible things. They don't bother reading the full story. The fact is, you're innocent till proven guilty. In the criminal court, I'll give them that, yeah? You are innocent till proven guilty in the criminal court, yeah? But what you're saying, just so I understand what you're saying, is with these sort of articles and social media and these sort of outlets, people read a title, they see a face, put two and two together, make up, fill in the blanks themselves. It looks bad, must be bad, but they've not read the full details around that story or case.
2 and 2 equals 7.
Right.
That's what happens. And yes, and this is the thing is because, again, because of the power that people have had social media and that type of stuff, they have become, what's that, Judge Dredd? Judge you in execution in it.
Yes.
You are guilty before you're guilty.
Guilty by social media.
Yeah. And even though when you're found not guilty, you're still going to be guilty. Like Mendy, Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, but you're never going to recover from a certain type of allegation. Even if you get found not guilty, you're never going to recover from a certain type of allegation. That damage, that reputational damage cannot be... Okay, look, I'll tell you about my own situation, what a lot of fathers go through, right? When these domestic allegations are placed, and I speak to mostly men, they don't talk about it, they don't tell anyone. They don't leave their house, and this is the same pattern with hundreds of fathers I speak to. They don't want to leave their house, they don't talk to anyone, they just go quiet and they go into themselves because they said it's humiliating. That humiliating factor, you can't. How do you measure that? How do you measure that damage or that humiliating factor? And I know how it feels. You don't want to see anyone, and these are just domestic flipping abuse allegation type of stuff. Yeah, when you go into those sort of allegations with Mendy, Benjamin Mendy, and all those others that are faced. I can't imagine, I can relate, but to imagine the full scale of that humiliation, that fear, that emotional turmoil, and the reputational damage is something that you can never really bring, you can never fix that again.
You're right. And when you look at certain, like, other stories and that type of stuff, again, you look at this you BBC guy, Hugh Edwards or whatever
Yeah,
it is, and you
uh-huh.
have Philip Schofield and that type of stuff. You know, these guys. But the thing is, the media then turn around and say, "Oh, leave them alone. They've got mental health problems." I'm
Mm.
kind of quoting Andrew Tate here, by the way. But then you have someone like, you know, your Andrew Tate and again your Johnny Depps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health they didn't have mental health issues, did they?
No one
What
seems to
about every
care.
single father who goes through family court and he gets accused of false stuff? Do they not? Do I not have like again the fact that I've had this thrown against me? I have had my life, and my life means my son, my acting career, my modelling career taken away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Where I am very, very appreciative, and as we discussed before, like I have people who know the truth because they've seen things.
Yes.
I've shown them the documents who I need to,
Mm-hmm.
and hence I still get what I get to do, love.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is the difference. And again, I'm not a big time in comparison to some.
So you're still lucky that you're getting the little work.
Yeah,
or
that's
the co-
correct.
You're lucky that you get some of the contracts that you do.
Yeah.
And that you can still provide stuff.
Yeah.
You can still provide for your son.
Because
I dig it.
again, and this is the thing, guilty people hide.
Okay.
Guilty people go to ground. Guilty people won't talk.
Okay.
If you have nothing to hide,
Uh-huh.
then why not?
I agree, yeah.
Right. Andrew Tate, a bit off topic, but Andrew Tate talks about it constantly. He gets called misogynistic and that type of stuff. Like us, this is long form content. But
Mhm.
somebody would clip 10 seconds and turn around and say, look at him, he's agreed with this.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you actually watch 10 seconds before and 10 seconds after, then you would understand the context he is trying to disclose this conversation.
Yes.
Right. And there we go. This guy's been accused of also false allegations, silver bullet, and that type of stuff, kidnapping, etc. Right? Even now, if you were to have a discussion with females, they would turn around and that. But he's not actually charged with anything like that.
No.
Do you know what he's actually charged with?
Yeah, I was watching that podcast
Yeah,
with
human
Tucker
trafficking.
Carlson. I watched that podcast, and what
Yeah.
he said was human trafficking
Yeah.
to try and get them to make TikTok
TikTok,
videos and
and
take
the
money
money.
out their TikTok accounts.
Right.
I didn't
But-
know TikTok was monetized like
Yeah. Missing out here. What's it called? But then the madness from all of that is again, people don't look at that because why would they? Because they're doing what media tells them to do,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Again,
Yeah.
clickbait.
Yes.
But again, like going back to it, this guy got falsely imprisoned for 6 months. Right, let's
Yes.
remember this again. That's very fortunate.
People don't understand how scary that is, though.
6 months. Let's remember, no evidence.
Yeah.
In fact, you could YouTube this. The people, the females individually, supposedly, who have accused him of this type of stuff, actually put on the videos. They've actually made YouTube videos, Romanian TV, etc. And they turn around and go, that didn't happen to us. We told the police that didn't happen, but the police didn't take our statements.
Yes, but remember what they said, the mechanisms, again, if you look at, this is what's scary though, if you look at the mechanism of the law, even when a victim then pulls back or says that they deny the statements, there's a mechanism to say, ignore them because they're victims, they might be scared, or my point is the mechanism is there to counter any reality, any common sense.
The figure is, this guy gets vilified. What's it called? Because the fact is, because apparently he teaches toxic masculinity. Okay, no, he doesn't. He teaches men how to be men. And for someone like myself, and for someone like you, and the thousands of other people who put up with this crap constantly on a day-to-day basis, who get their life ripped apart from them.
Mm-hmm.
The same child that was in their arms when they were born.
Yes.
And what's it called? To the day their first nappy, their first crawl, their first walk, their first tooth, their first smile, etc., 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 and that type of stuff. You were good enough for all of that, but now all of a sudden you're the worst guy in the world. What? But then what happens? She tells somebody, they tell another person, and then the whisper gets spread. And then let's put it on social media. This guy is the worst dad in the world.
Yes.
And guess what? You are now the worst dad in the world.
Yes.
Let's forget the fact that the past 7 years you were the best dad in the world.
Yes.
Okay, again, if you went in that individual's videos and have Instagram or Facebook or whatever type of stuff, you are the best dad in the world.
Happy
I know
families,
thousands of dads. I still do it to this day. I went on. I'm like, why have you still got pictures of me and the kids on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought I was the worst person in the world. But now I've also, what's changed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From like, I love you, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life to you're a scumbag, I hate you much. Like, you know what I mean? And then the friends chip in, I told you, so I knew there was something bad about him.
Because you're not with me anymore, so you're automatically the worst. You're not with me anymore, so you're no longer a good dad.
Yeah. And then, exactly, and then the tactic comes into play. They try to attack his person. That's what they do. They try to attack him.
Demonize someone's character.
There we go.
They
Sorry,
lose
yeah,
your
thank you.
credibility.
Well better
Demonize a
said.
character, yes.
Yeah, then they try to do that. They attack your character, and they're kind of like, okay, but we need to appeal to the masses. We need to attack this individual.
Let me put it another way, yeah. So you touched on something there, demonizing character, yeah. Now, as we spoke about earlier, as I've said to you, the certain personality disorder and whatnot, yeah. So let's say this fella had pictures, him, his kids, happy families, best dad in the world, all of that, yeah. If you've got all that and that was all put out, and that was a narrative even put out at that time to friends and family, he's still got that to hold on to. People like, nah, not him, because we've never heard anything like this about that guy. Imagine you're in a relationship, you think, yeah, you're the best dad in the world, you're playing, you're doing this thing. Your partner during a relationship is putting that narrative out over the years behind your back. How do you contend with that? Poggy, you ain't got a clue what's going on. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just another angle I just wanted to put out there. But sorry, carry on.
No, but there you go. There's so many different takes you could do of this, and that's what's annoying. But the thing is, what it is now, we're living in a society that the man is the bad one these days, that type of stuff, where in fact it's the woman what controls everything.
Because, okay, but look at this, okay, Louis. This is what I keep saying to people. We live in this society and women are behaving like this because there's a system in place that's incentivized this behavior. Look, let me put it this way, yeah. Remember this. Look, remember this again. If, let's say the government say, right, murder is illegal, homicide, murder, whatever you want to call it, you will survey prisons and it is illegal to do that act here. Hence, it is limited to only some people doing it in certain scenarios. If the government said, look, if you can justify why you did it and we see it's a good enough reason, it's not necessarily a punishment. We'd all be guilty of murder on some level rather than, yeah? Because that is the backstop, the behaviors in society, the backstop on the behavior in society is governed by the law.
Yeah.
Hence, if the system is built around this, humans will gravitate towards a certain type of behavior. If there is a reward, bottom line is, look, when all this COVID business happened, yeah, people started attacking each other over toilet paper, yeah, because the situation in society was created where people will revert back to certain behavior. When there is a reward system and a system built around this, unfortunately, that gender is just behaving to what is put there at the back. Do you see what I'm saying? So the women can behave like we know this, but why is this system built around this?
This is it.
And do we then need a UN convention for men and boys to balance out? Because if there's a convention only for women and girls, which is now woven into every part of society, including the family court, potentially criminal court, especially with rape allegations, and the feminist narrative, all women are to be believed no matter what. They keep pushing it, and that's a scary, very scary narrative, yeah? Then take into account, like you touched on Andrew Tate, 6 months without evidence, locked up in a prison. If you can take a man out, make anything up, even a man with that much power, yeah? What chance of me and you got? This is what I'm saying, think about it.
And this is the thing. That guy, and as I said, I'm a huge fan of him, because of his and B, he reminded me that I'm a man. He reminded me I'm not a simp. He reminded me I can't be manipulated by the masses. He reminded me how easy it is to manipulate people by the masses.
Okay, but let me ask you, this is the point I was making earlier, which I forgot, right? Okay. Do you now do you understand his message because of what you've seen?
100%.
This is my point. Would you have understood what he was saying prior to you entering the family court system and this other, situations?
Yeah. No. You're right.
You wouldn't have understood it fully, would you?
He, like I said, he's appealed to me, and he's appealed to millions of people, and this is why he's been attacked. Right? Let's remember, this guy was the most Googled person last year. The most Googled person in the world. Do you know what that's like?
Yes. Well, I don't know.
But no, obviously.
I barely get a handful of views, bro.
Even me and YouTube wouldn't have but please, by all means, if this becomes the most Googled podcast, remember, monetize us, okay?
I'm scraping for 10 likes here, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll do TikToks. And I'll take his income. And but again, as I said, do you know what I mean? But this is the thing, because he was appealing to the masses. And as I said, as a man who was contemplating suicide and has tried suicide and that type of stuff, his message now hits home.
Yes.
You know what it's like to be at your lowest, and then somebody keeps punching you and punching you and punching you. And the thing is, you look up.
Yes.
and no one's got a handout.
Yes. No one.
What do you do with life? You've already had your life, your children taken away from
Yeah.
you. You have nothing. You've got people doubting you from all angles,
Yes. You're alone.
doubting you.
You're alone.
People who you've known forever, people who you've been best friends at their wedding, best man at their wedding, people who you call a brother, people who you call a sister, people who you call a lover, somebody who called your wife.
Your own. You are on your once these allegations are placed on you, once you enter this system, once you lose contact with your children, you are truly alone. You realize, you find out how truly alone you really are. And then you have to find yourself.
Yeah.
You find yourself and you have to climb back up and you have to hold on.
The most important message I say to everyone: sit down, look at yourself, run scenarios through your head. Did I do this? If you know hand on heart between you and the Maker, you haven't done anything. Your heart is pure.
Mm-hmm.
You're clean.
Mm-hmm.
You should have nothing to worry about.
Yes.
You don't need to justify yourself to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because these idiots have read an article what says clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all they did was Google you and went on your Wikipedia page and decided to get some information off that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this guy's been in a TV program. Oh, let's run with that.
Mm.
Personally, I was kind of insulted the fact that they went with Hollyoaks, the fact that they could pick Dungeons and Dragons, they could have picked the Batman, they could have picked them all sorts of type of stuff that was doing.
Did you hear that?
That's the one that they picked.
Did you hear how big this guy is? He's not disqualified. I just want to put it out there. A man who's on movie sets, dramas, he's all, modeling. He's on disqualified dads.
Times are hard, guys. What can I say?
And he's not getting paid. That's what
I'm getting paid whispers.
You got a whisper and a can of drink. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But the thing is, as I say, all jokes aside and that type of stuff. But that's the thing. That's why I can't keep my head up high. The same as you,
Yes.
and the same as millions of thousands of other people. And we always say this: keep your head up high.
Yes.
If you know you haven't done anything, and you know you have the love, right? You keep going until the truth and until you get that person back in your arms and that kid's back in their arms. But the most important thing I would say to anyone is don't justify yourself to anyone.
Yes.
What's the saying? It's right. Okay, right. So the way to say it in family court, right, at the end of it is, right, it's her word against the truth. That's it. It's her word against the truth.
Period.
False allegations, again, not everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But what you've got to say now is how many more cases are becoming apparent about women lying.
Yes.
Women lying.
Where is this going to end?
Where does it go? Because now, on the other side of that is, you are now taken away from victims who have actually been through it.
Genuine victims.
Like genuine victims. And I can personally say, and this is where I was taken back, and this is where I kind of felt appreciative, and this is where I knew things, inshallah, should be okay.
Sure.
Because people were reaching out to me. Riz, I've been through this. I've been accused. Riz, I've been a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I read their stories and I cried my eyes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can these sick individuals accuse men out there and say these vile things? What's it called? And let's remember, they used to share a bed once upon a time. For how many years? But they were okay then. But now all of a sudden,
they made a baby.
because they're not getting in the way,
they
decide to say something.
Yeah.
So again, remember, context. We always remember that, very, very important. And now all of a sudden, I'm reading these stories. And as I said, first of all, I'm feeling appreciative of the fact that they feel comfortable enough to speak to me. And I'm kind of like, obviously, I'm taken aback. And I'm like, wow. But at the same time, as I said, now, because like anything, like you, as you said, the fact that you got involved with family courts, you know about family courts now.
Yes.
And it's like anything in life, if you don't know about a subject, you don't know. But once you look into it, now false allegations, now I've been looking into it.
But this one is, we want the youngsters to not end up here.
Nah.
So youngsters that are starting relationships and entering marriages, youngsters who are about to, start a family, and youngsters who are just going out to have fun. They need to obviously, you're a man of the world. Youngsters are going to have fun. One mistake, one slip up, like I said, the turmoil and pain on the other side.
Exactly. Young men, gentlemen, my advice?
Yeah.
Wear protection. Don't do it. Just wear protection. Nah. Jokes aside.
But also, what it is, I just want the awareness of the shock and horror. Like, for example, look, you didn't know that fathers had no rights in in this country
Mhm.
effective until you enter the family court. Now, my point is, why didn't we know this before we had a kid?
Yeah,
But how
but
is
you
it
don't. You don't.
this information is not widely available? Hence, we're trying to create awareness so these youngsters know what is out there before they end up here. At least they,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
The
So,
figure,
what advice would you
yeah.
give for those? Okay, for just try and conclude on something now. For
Yeah.
those out there who are potentially going through this or facing the sort of stuff that we've been discussing, family court and this other
Yeah.
stuff, if you got any advice for them, sure, and any advice for youngsters out there who are entering relationships, those who are just
Yeah.
having casual fun, and those who are about to start families. So just
Yeah.
try and direct some advice for.
I think what I would say from personal experience, look, meeting a special individual is the best feeling in the world. We were talking about this earlier.
Mhm.
You know, the love, the affection, all things become. It is the best feeling in the world. I think we all aim, though, like a.
We're all looking for it, that
Yeah,
companionship. We're
like
all looking for
I'm
love,
trying
yeah.
to feel like a Cinderella story. Do you know what I mean? Like a
We're looking for a happy end. Well, sounds
Yeah.
wrong there.
yeah.
We're
We're
looking
looking
for
for
a
a happily ever after. And that
live
type of
happily
stuff.
ever after. That's it.
Like
yeah.
yeah,
Not happy ending. Sorry, that sounds a bit wrong.
That's a call. And you know that's what we're looking for. We're looking for our queen, our king, and that type of stuff. That's what we are, prince and princess. That's what we're looking for at the end of the day. And do you know what? I wish nothing more in the world to you people out there to fall in love. One of the best feelings in the world when you have it. When you have it, don't let go. But at the same time, don't ever lower yourself. Don't lower your expectations. You deserve the happiness of the world. Why not? Why should you have to give in your morals and values to keep someone else happy? A relationship works both ways. Remember that. Most important thing in life.
Mm-hmm.
Being a parent, as I said, we can both say, is the most fulfilling thing in the world. Obviously, we've talked about the whole context of today. It's the best feeling in the world. And it's something which I miss every single day.
Yes,
I'm in
honestly,
London
yeah,
right now. I've been
yeah.
filming in one of the biggest sets you can imagine in the world at the moment. I'm walking around London. And he should be here with me. But he's not, is he?
Mm.
Why is he not? Because of some lie you're making up allegations about me. He's not here. But inshallah, time will come. And you will be here with me. Hopefully not with a jumpsuit on, but you know what I mean, and that type of stuff, but you'll be here. And that's the best feeling in the world. You know, people whinge about the night feeds and, you know, changing nappies and that type of stuff.
Get involved, man. Do it.
But when you don't have it, you miss it.
Yeah, listen, with my first one, I did a lot of nappies. Middle one, I slacked off, and the third one, I started again. But the night feeds, you know, the crying, you hold it them, all that.
You miss it, don't you?
Yeah,
It's something that you earn for now when you get older.
Look, let me tell you, look, there's one thing you will get from your children, and the look in your eyes is unconditional love. Listen, man, that is, no one can love you unconditionally other than when your children are small, that age, and they look at you, and you are everything to them, man.
Exactly. And that's what we kind of want in a relationship and that type of stuff. But now I think when we get into the serious of things, and reality of things these days, if you are going to get with someone, my personal thing, don't ever delete anything. Keep every single text message, keep every single email, keep every single photo, keep every single video.
Also, don't have arguments over text or WhatsApp.
Just
don't get involved. Don't get sucked into it.
Basically, as much as you might love that individual,
don't be completely naive. Yeah.
Don't be naive. And the thing is, I apologise for even saying that because I know it sounds disgusting saying it.
Yeah, it sounds.
We were talking to two people who were married in relationships and that type of stuff. And again, people will back us up in the comments. We were people who were daughters and loved us and that type of stuff. And this is what we've had to deal with. For what? For what? A flawed system. What screwed us over? And for what? The fact that we love these individuals. And this is how we've been treated. Again, as I said, you know, go out there, but protect yourself. Always make sure you protect yourself. I would go as far as to make sure that even a girl texts you to say that she's coming round your house. If you're going to go around her house, text her to say I'm coming round your house. Unfortunately, as I said, it's the Matrix, and the Matrix out there attack you. And I now understand what that means.
Yes.
I now understand what that means. And as I said, you know, I apologise to put it down on things, but this is the reality of things because it's all connected. Because when you get to family court,
when you get to this side, basically, look, the bottom line is it might sound harsh, it might sound a bit cold that when you're in a relationship, you have to play these so-called games and records and stuff like that. But I assure you, you do not want to be sitting on this side of it because the shock and horror and what you'll face on this side, you might not make it. That's the reality. So when you're there, just be a little bit careful, a little bit cautious. Don't get too blinded by love. Just keep your wits about you a little bit.
Yeah. And the figures, I apologise because it kind of pains me to say that. It really does. You know, we were talking about this earlier, and it does. It upsets me to say that, because you should just
You shouldn't have to when you
you
love
should just fall
someone, but-
happily in love, have a happily ever after,
Yeah.
raise an amazing family with no discrepancies, nothing against each other. Don't have to hold things against each other. And I said it hurts me, but I'm a realist, and I know this for someone who's been screwed over the system like yourself and thousands of other people. And because I've kind of got a bit of a reputation that's been used against me, the fact that I've been vilified in national media and that type of stuff, the fact that I'm losing out on relationships and I'm somebody who I've really got on with on a personal level.
See, that's
Yeah.
the other thing. Yeah. So okay. So basically, I think we can bespoke your advice. So those with a platform or clout or with like modeling, not those with some sort of that sort of celebrity glamour sort of career, they're bigger targets. So average Joe like me, no one cares, mate. No one cares, mate. You know what I mean? I'd be happy to say someone said that I got with him. No one said, nah, we didn't know him. No one wants to be associated with me.
I wanted his jumpsuit.
Yeah. No one wants to be associated with, but you, for example, celebrities, those young guys and girls out there who are going into modeling careers, acting careers, who are celebrities, who have platforms and they're young. I think your advice is better tailored to them because you see what I'm saying. They're bigger targets for.
And I would,
this sort of thing.
and I would also say, like females as well, please protect yourselves as well, because there's a lot of men out there who are predators and that type of stuff who put it down and back up these claims or false allegations. But again, we're giving the male perspective at the moment. But as again, I said, you know, both sides, please protect yourselves. But as I said, just keep your own ego out of it. Keep your own evilness from one another. Think of the child. Do you know what I mean? Just shut up and just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? And remember, you are both a parent. It takes both to raise a child.
It takes a village.
And do you know what I mean? Yeah, it does.
And not just that, when a child loses contact with one parent, effectively, remember the uncles, aunts, grandpa, all that love a child is missing out on.
Now, you would tell me a child of mixed race shouldn't be over the moon at the fact that they're getting embraced of two religions, two cultures.
Multicultures, yeah, multi-layered, great.
We live in Britain, which is the biggest multicultural society there is in the world at the moment. To me, well, I'm in London at the moment, I'm walking around, I'm like, damn, like, what is going on? I'm seeing all sorts.
Crazy, man.
I'm from a town.
Cosmopolitan, yeah, big time, yeah.
Just cover your back. Cover your back.
Okay, I think, Riz, we've covered quite a bit. Thank you for coming, Riz. I do appreciate it. One day when this platform gets to a reasonable standard or level, you know, we can get you a t-shirt or something. That's it. But thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We are Disqualified Dads.